Hey everyone, it's Laura Gadenik with Laura Gadenik Therapeutic Astrology, and I'm here to give you the therapeutic astrology for the weeks of August 10th through the 23rd, 2026. I am a little late on this video again, however, the astrology that happened on Monday and Tuesday and today is still very much in play. Monday the 10th, we had Venus trine Pluto and Venus opposite Neptune. She then later on Tuesday the 11th made a trine to Uranus. So lots of relational stuff that's been at play this week. Venus is about relationships, art, pleasure, love, beauty, aesthetics, style. And Venus trine Pluto has us digging beneath the surface for relational issues that may not have been talked about or realized or acknowledged before. So it's time for that stuff to come up and be examined. Venus opposite Neptune also might have us fantasizing about other people. If you are in a relationship, you might, crushes you might have might become extra big in your mind's eye this week. And it could also be that you are fantasizing about something, not necessarily a someone, but maybe a way of life, an aesthetic, creating something. It's a very imaginative transit and is really good for focusing on what art and beauty you want to incorporate into your life and bring into the world. Oppositions to Neptune can be very fanciful and not be very connected to reality, but it's always really important to continue dreaming and continue having something to strive towards, even if that thing will never fully become tangible. But that's kind of the whole point of dreams and fantasies, is that they never become quite real in the way that they are in our imagination. And I think that's something to hold on to. On Tuesday, the 11th, that's when Venus makes that trine to Uranus, and that also brings about creative changes in relationships, and also creative energy in general. Wanting to try something new, do something new with a lover or romantic partner or friends, maybe even try something new in the way that you do relationships. What is a pattern that you have relationally? And what are some steps that you can take to get out of the pattern or do something different so that you can get a different result? Venus-Uranus is great for bringing about different results in relationships if we take advantage of the energy. Now, we also have Mercury. We had Mercury opposing Pluto and trine Neptune on this day as well. So that's kind of continuing the theme of digging deeper and having deeper conversations and potentially new or hidden, most likely hidden information coming to the surface, something that you didn't realize or that was unconscious. And also it could be too much analyzing or maybe paranoia about something or overthinking or, reading into something too much. That's also a very Mercury-Pluto thing. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, Mercury-Pluto dynamics can bring about more consciousness or new awarenesses about patterns that we have been unaware of previously. But also it can be, you might be digging for something that's not really there. So something to keep in mind. Mercury trine Neptune brings about compassion and understanding and forgiveness, and also continuing that theme of kind of daydreaminess and fantasizing and connecting to a more imaginal realm. So it can be really lovely in that sense. Okay, and then we also have Mars head into Cancer. Mars moved into Cancer yesterday on the 11th, and this brings our energy, or turns our energy towards this part of our house in our birth chart. And this is where Mercury just retrograded. We did just have Jupiter spend a whole year in this part of our chart. So now we are being more protective and securing this part of our chart. This could look like protecting and securing your home, your, of course, the Cancer part of your chart, so whatever house that is for you, and maybe being a little bit more emotionally defensive or protective. So it's good to be aware of this transit, because you might feel a little bit more protective, and sometimes that can come out as being like passive aggressive, for instance, or being indirect in conflict, because there's a little bit more fear here. So, this could very much so be connected to what you've been experiencing over the last several weeks with Mercury having just retrograded in this house. Now we're putting our energy here and maybe making some changes or taking action with regards to these topics. And it is, I will say, Mars in Cancer is a more challenging transit. And we will have some challenging aspects coming up with the square to Neptune and the square to Saturn. So it's definitely a good idea to be more conservative in this area of life and more protective, generally speaking, because of those more difficult transits approaching later in the month. Okay, today, Wednesday the 12th, we have a solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. So it is eclipse season. This is huge. Eclipse season lasts about 6 weeks. Eclipses always indicate major changes, major endings, and major beginnings. And this is a South Node solar eclipse. South Node eclipses are all about letting go, releasing, and cleansing, getting rid of. So this, of course, is going to be connected to the Leo part of your chart, whatever house that is for you. And that's where you will find that these changes need to be made. It's also about letting go in general of things regarding your identity or how you're seen or how you kind of like what you do in the world that don't feel quite like you, that don't feel very authentic. Leo is a sign that is ruled by the sun, which represents us, our identity, our sense of self, our ego. And so this South Node eclipse is about releasing patterns or ways of being that don't feel like they fully reflect who you are. It might also be about getting a little bit more performative. Leo is a sign that likes to be the center of attention, likes to be seen, and is very creative. So this is also about getting in touch with your creative power, your creative potential, and in what ways can you be seen more through letting go of something that doesn't quite fit you? That's a question I'll leave you with. On Thursday, I should say before I move on, so we will have an eclipse later, 2 weeks down the line in the sign of Pisces. I believe that's the final eclipse in Pisces. So we're wrapping up some changes that we've been making in the Pisces part of our house. So we are in eclipse season for about 6 weeks. It's good to kind of lay low, to be honest. Don't do rituals or, make big plans or try to do very much around this time, because it's known to be unstable energy. I say that as I plan to get on a flight tomorrow to Minneapolis to visit a friend. Fingers crossed that everything works out. Otherwise, it'll be a learning lesson for me, and I will report back if something happens. Okay, so Thursday the 13th, Mercury in Leo makes a sextile to Venus. So this brings about sweet conversations, sweet words, moments of connection. This also really helps all the other stuff that we might have experienced earlier on in the week with all the Pluto action with Venus and Mercury. Really it's Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus action with Venus and Mercury. If things got a little sticky or heavy or intense, this brings about sweet words, sweet sentiments, also a general ease in connecting with others. Connection and celebration come more easily. It's also, brings about a more creative mindset. You might want to do some writing, do some creative writing around this time. Really great for that. Okay, Saturday the 15th, we have Mercury making a conjunction with Jupiter. Mercury is the mind and conversations. Jupiter is hope and our belief system. So this brings uplifting conversations, conversations that have us thinking about the big picture, maybe feelings of hope and forgiveness and goodwill towards someone else or towards others more generally. And just like a sense of hope and optimism overall. Monday the 17th, we have a couple things going on. We have Mars square Neptune, we have Mercury in Leo trine Saturn, and we have Venus in Libra sextile Jupiter. So Mars square Neptune, Mars is our energy, how we direct our action, and Neptune is our ideal, the dream, right? The thing that we long for. So it can be a moment of wanting to focus our energy towards our dreams or towards our visions. It can also have us focusing our energy on more compassionate acts. Neptune is a planet about compassion and helping others as well. It can also bring about extreme idealism and therefore disappointment as well. And Mars Neptune can also be like a drain to your energy. So it's a good day to pay attention to your energy, maybe rest a little bit more than you otherwise would, and also maybe gear your actions or your energy towards more imaginative things. Let yourself kind of, daydream a little bit, maybe. Although we have Mercury trine Saturn, I'll get to that in a moment. So maybe Mars square Neptune is more about engaging in compassionate acts, taking an action towards an ideal, resting, letting yourself physically rest and relax. And there was another, Neptune is the god of the sea. So anything having to do with water could be really nourishing and healing. Taking actions that revolve around water. Mars square Neptune, because it can feel, engaging in some sort of creative action. So something like dance or music, these are things that Neptune also rule over. So doing some dancing, listening to some music, getting creative. On the same day, Mercury trine Saturn, which is a little bit more of a realistic and stabilizing influence. So this is kind of an interesting combo. So you might have more stabilizing conversations where you're making a plan for the future. You are thinking about the long term. You are having more structured thinking, which is interesting given the Mars-Neptune square. So there might be a little bit of both on this day, both of these sorts of energies. And then Venus sextile Jupiter is just so fun, just so connective, celebratory, loving, really great day to just like have really wonderful connective experiences. And if you don't have anything set up or planned, or you're someone who doesn't feel like you have a lot of social connections, really good day to put yourself out there and try talking to someone, try starting up a conversation, doing something fun that you might not normally do, because it's a good time for it. It's funnily enough, the following weekend on Friday the 22nd, Venus opposes Saturn, which is kind of the opposite energy of Venus sextile Jupiter. Venus opposite Saturn can feel like I'm alone, I feel rejected, nothing is fun. It can feel cold and just kind of like, there's nothing fun to do. Saturn is a planet that negates, it says no, especially in opposition mode. So, it's like a switch of the flip, totally different energy. Could be good for setting up boundaries in relationships and being realistic. Could be good for thinking about the long term in terms of art forms or creative projects you want to start, getting organized in your art supplies or your hobby supplies, or getting rid of things. Saturn is really great about getting rid of things. So going through your hobby, like with all your tools or your supplies, and getting rid of stuff that you use to have fun. And it'll be a quick transit, it'll pass. And then Saturday the 22nd, the sun heads into Virgo and we are in Virgo season. And that'll highlight, of course, your Virgo house in your chart. You'll be focusing more on that area of life. More of your conscious awareness will be on that part of your life. It'll be more grounded. Virgo is an earth sign. Earth signs are generally more grounded unless, there's other factors. And you might be more focused on being of service to others, being more practical, and focusing on mind-body connection stuff. These are just some general Virgo themes. Might be maybe more on food and nutrition as well. That's a very Virgo thing. Virgo rules digestion. So, okay, so that is the astrology for the next couple of weeks. I hope this was useful. Please subscribe, comment. Oh my gosh, talking is so hard today. I'm open for consultations. Please reach out. Otherwise, I'll be back in a couple of weeks with another astrological update. I hope you take care. Bye.